Good afternoon, family. I'm Curtis Cheatham Jr., and welcome to This Week in Black America. Here's the rundown of this past week's highlights. The 47th president is at it again, this time taking over the D.C. police force and dispatching National Guard troops to the nation's capital. We've got all the details. Meanwhile, on the West Coast, Governor Newsom decides that California will fight fire with fire to overcome the Texas shenanigans. We'll tell you all about that. The KKK is alive and well here in America, in America's heartland, and they make their presence known in an Ohio community. And we've got some sad news on the details of a young man whose last text was, "Mom, help." The DOJ is coming for New York Attorney General James over allegations of violating Trump's civil rights. And another DOJ employee is in trouble for attacking police with a deadly weapon. And we're going to get into all the details of that, along with so much more coming up on This Week in Black America. As always, I got my brother Deshaun here with me. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing lovely, considering we are seeing the beginnings of what looks like a martial law type style of government. Things is some of our worst... some things we just threw out, worst case scenarios, maybe 6 months ago, a year ago. We're kind of seeing some of those things happen right before our eyes. And we're curious as to what our co-hosts think as everybody jumps in and joins the discussion. We don't consider you just our audience, but you are our co-host. There are things that sometimes you catch that we don't catch, and we dialogue about everything here. So feel free to keep your keyboards close. Let your opinions be heard. We always bring your comments right into the show as you type them, and they make the show interesting. So welcome to Pamela. We see you in the building already. Always good to see you. And if you got some time to spend with us, we're here every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. This is where we catch up on the happenings and specifically how it affects us as Black Americans. So let's get the show on the road, Curtis. Let's start this thing from the top.
I just want to start with where you started. Does anybody think did anybody think 6 months ago, well, now what are we, 8 months ago now, in January, would you have thought we'd be where we are today? Did anybody foresee this? Was anybody have this on their card? I don't know. I don't think I know I didn't. And I don't know. I guess there are people, it's not like he's doing anything that he didn't say he was going to do. It's just like, I don't know. I'm just a little surprised. I'm just wondering if our co-host or you are feeling, did you have this on your bingo card 8 months in or a little under 8 months in now?
I was talking with my dad yesterday. It's just amazing to see it happening.
Right.
It's amazing. You could, no matter what you talk about something that is going to be like epic, because it's an epic play. It's written in the history books. What we're seeing is the overtaking of a government. It's not the fall of America yet. It's the fall of the democracy. Right. That's for sure. It's the breaking down of the democracy. So it's not the fall of America. In fact, the man claims, I'm going to take the American empire to its highest level.
Right.
But it's certainly the fall of the democracy. The people, if you thought that, and Gavin Newsom's been saying this lately, and it helped me to actually understand things. He keeps saying the Greek democracy and the Roman Republic. And he said, and when I heard him say and I'm sure other politicians have said it, but I said, let me look that up. And it turns out that was the merging of the governmental system, that Greek democracy of the people, and then the republic electing specific representatives to represent the people, not just a majority voice, but these electorates. And so all of that is crashing. All of that is burning right in front of us. And it's just amazing to watch. I can't say you and I have kind of shared our worst case scenarios over the last 6 months. We've thrown out ideas. But I mean, what do you think about it? It's nothing compared to watching a man execute on it right before our eyes,
Yeah. From our discussions, I am more and more convinced that that this person is acting not just on his own. There's more to it. There is, to me, there's more to it. And I don't want to get into that just yet, at least. But yeah. I think there's a spiritual component to this. I just, because it doesn't make common sense to me. I can't wrap my head around how this could be happening unless, of course, there is some sort of understanding or that I haven't quite gotten my mind around yet. So, every day that we do this, all during the week, I can tell you when I'm going through stories and looking up stuff, I'm like, there's no way that God's doesn't have his hand somewhere in this.
Well, me and my father talk about this regularly. We've been talking about this for 2 years and maybe a little longer. I said that if the prophecy is right concerning him, it's destroyed from the inside, this country, and then they run off to another nation. So they run off to another nation. So when it looks like, oh, this guy might be against America, it's just a puzzle piece that's for months I said, well, let's just look at the puzzle pieces of prophecy and maybe it's not him. Maybe this is not the guy. But if he goes off and he kind of builds a place that he could chill at if this burns, then it's just another puzzle piece. And what we're seeing with what he, how he's, to use the word that I think is overused, but hey, since it's overused, let me use it too. Capitulate. Since we're capitulating to the state of Israel, this is what we're like. It seems as, and again, we'll talk about this on a discussion. This is not necessarily news this week, but it just seems like he's a lot more closer than with Israel than a lot of our presidents have been. He plays a different role concerning Israel than whether it be what he did in Tel Aviv and how they looked at him after that, to the taking of Gaza, to the Abrahamic Accords, which is a peace agreement in that area. So it's kind of like the people who used to run that area, they never got along with Syria and Jordan and all of these Eastern powers in that area. And he's the opposite. He's going out there and it's kind of like he's like, hey, let's talk to the kings of Saudi. Let's talk to these people. And they have this agreement where he could be over there chilling out if this goes to hell. So again, we just getting started, people. Welcome to This Week in Black America. We got a lot to discuss, but that's Curtis. I want to circle back around to that later in the show, maybe around the 1:30 hour, and let's just have some discussion concerning that, Gaza and things of that nature. But
okay.
Anything you want to close on, and because I don't want to just open up a can of worms and then don't give you a chance to comment on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get to that. What's up, DCO Fly? Welcome. Good to see you as always.
DCO Fly in the building. Listen, if you just keep your hands by your keyboard, y'all. We are a dialogue show. All of your comments we bring into the show. And you might have caught something this week that we didn't catch. So feel free to just, keep your fingers might be tired by the end of the show. So feel free to, let your voice be heard.
Absolutely. So let's get into this DC thing, the latest shenanigans by this administration and the District of Columbia. Now, we know, or well, maybe you don't know, but the District of Columbia is not actually a state, obviously. It's a district. And we can get into that. We don't need to get into it now, but for years, the conversation has been going on about taxation without representation, because the District of Columbia, they don't have senators. They do have representatives in Congress, but they don't have, I believe that's correct. They do have representatives in Congress, but they don't have a sitting senator or two senators like every other state. So the push for statehood has been ongoing for years now. The problem is they don't want to make Washington, D.C. is known as what you might call a chocolate city, or has been. Now it's probably being more and more gentrified from what I can see, but we'll get into that some other time. but it's traditionally been known as a chocolate city. And I don't know. I guess there is not an appetite to invite a state in that is predominantly Black, African American, brown, whatever moniker you want to use to describe the population. But so the latest victim of the Trump administration is the city of Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States of America. And so the president invoked Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act to declare a public safety emergency. We'll get back to that. Seizing control of the D.C. police, placing them under Attorney General P.M. Bondi, and deploying 800 National Guard troops. Local leaders condemned the move, obviously citing the record low crime rates in Washington, D.C. And Trump indicated that he might want to take similar actions with other Democratic-led cities. And he named like Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. I think he named Oakland and Baltimore as well. The ironic thing is that every city that he named,
Black America,
that he named has a Black mayor. Every single city that he named has a Black mayor. And it's ironic because New York, he pretty much still got it. I mean, they got Eric Adams kind of
in pocket,
between rock and a hard place already. Mm-hmm. So I'm really surprised that he's calling them out. But maybe his racist tendencies are more important to him than loyalty. But we'll see. So that's the basis of it. And now we're seeing reports already where the police and the National Guard are being deployed. They're out in the streets, kind of enforcing what I saw them enforcing, like I forgot the name they call it, but drinking on the street, smoking marijuana in the streets and things like that. Quality of life violations, if you will. So I don't know. If people just hanging out on the street, they're not messing with nobody. They might be having a brown bag beverage on the corner with the boys, maybe smoking something, or something. They're not bothering anybody. Is that a big deal? I don't know. Your thoughts? Maybe our co-hosts have some thoughts on that. Is this enough?
Well, didn't we
put the National Guard out?
Well, didn't we see people put in cuffs and shackles and treated like criminals for a misdemeanor of being in the country? Undocumented or being again. And I think you broke that down wonderfully a couple weeks ago on the show, that we continually hear about illegals and migrants and rapists. And, I want to say these things because I don't know how YouTube feels about them, but that's how when the criminalization of immigrants has been blown up to a proportion we've never saw. And if you didn't have somebody who broke down what the actual violation is, and does the violation match the level of enforcement, and the does it match? It didn't match then. So and what surprises me, Curtis, is how quickly he rolled this out.
Yeah.
It didn't take 24 hours for me to see the first video in DC of cops running up on him. Thank goodness it was a good cop. I mean, you could tell at first you're like, hey, well, who's this cop? Because he's like, hey, guys, you got ID or whatever. And he's asking questions that you don't know if this cop is about to go left. You don't know if this cop is about to go straight up.
Right.
But
he actually did a good job. If it's the one I think you said, he did a good job of explaining why it was a problem.
He was basically warning the people in DC, like, Trump's not going for this. Like, this is over, fellas. Like, get inside, stay inside. Don't be out here drinking. Don't be out here smoking.
Don't give an excuse. That's all it is.
Exactly.
And you need to understand, and what the DC residents also need to understand. And I had this thought the other night. All they got to do is chill for 30 days. Chill. go take it in the house. Don't be outside doing the stuff that you would normally do, even though it's kind of hot out, and these are things that you would normally see in the summer. People may not have air conditioning in the house and they want to catch a cool breeze while having their evening beverage. So yes, to answer you, DCO Fly, recreational marijuana is cannabis is legal in the District of Columbia. So to answer your question, yes, just being outside is the issue. You can smoke it in your home. You can carry up to, I believe it's 2 ounces of cannabis in the District of Columbia for personal recreational use, but you just can't smoke it outside. So, and
that's what the cop said. He broke down.
Right.
Yeah, he broke down what is allowed and what's not allowed.
Yeah. And
again, this is the story of America. You just don't know what cop you're going to get. And
True.
In this particular case, it was a good cop. He's obviously looking out for the city. But what was amazing, this is 24 hours after it really started going viral, or really after Trump made the announcement, this video comes out. So again,
that tells you that they've been planning this. They've been planning this. This wasn't something that just popped up.
This was a rollout day.
Exactly.
When he announced it, it was the day we rolled it out. And you talk about, there's a term called a hostile takeover, where you don't have time. The residents, I'm sure the police departments, it's just, this is what it is. The federal government is here. National Guard is coming in. These are orders from the president, who is a couple miles away, stone's throw away. Like, that's it. And Pamela, you asked a great question. Is he targeting every black mayor in these cities? I think it's just total control. Anywhere that is, you'll start with a huge percent of the population of black people voted against him.
Right.
Those are the numbers. We are the only voter base that united, and they say we can't unite. They say we can't unite. Again, that's all propaganda. I've been calling that out since listen, Latinos, y'all were the divided people. Asians divided, white divided, black people, you could say what you want to say, but there was something that we saw coming that we chose not to vote for this guy. There was something that didn't sit right. It wasn't just the fact that Kamala was black or Kamala was the Democratic candidate. It was just something we saw in this guy that we just didn't feel right about. And in the history books, that's on the history book. So whatever you want to, black people always vote Democrat. Listen, at the end of the day, I think if people see what's rolling out right now and what's coming to black cities, now that he knew from day one, these people did not vote for me. At large, 90% of black women, 95 or whatever, 80% almost of black men did not vote for me. So I'm either going to try to win some of them, or I'm going to take over their cities. And I think it's the taking over of the cities that's coming. And what he's going to do with black people, that remains to be seen. We could throw stuff in the pot to see what we think is coming, but I don't think it's nothing good.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think that he's got to be careful with dealing with black folks, even though we know that this country doesn't really want us here, right? Can we talk? What's going on, Anita? Welcome, Anita.
Absolutely. Qatar in the building.
Get Black with me. Good to see you as
welcome,
always.
Get Black with me. Finally watched Manchurian Candidate. We'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I finally watched it. She asked me last week, did you watch Manchurian Candidate? Yeah, sorry. I don't want to throw you off. Keep going.
Too late. I lost my train of thought. But anyway,
no. You were saying, can we talk? Can we talk? They don't want us here. Yep.
They don't want us here. And it just seems like, I don't know. I just want to circle back to the mayor's thing. It's all a setup, right? Because even Anita's asking or answering the question about, is this an attack on black mayors? We've talked about the black mayors like in Birmingham, Alabama. We don't see him mentioning Birmingham. We know that some of the most crime-ridden cities are actually in Republican-led cities and states. Yet it's all a smokescreen, right? because he's just trying to sow chaos. I'm still going to believe that that's what he does. That's his thing, because that's all we're seeing. That's all we're seeing right now is him sowing chaos. And I don't know.
I want to play with something that Anita just said. She said, check out what the governor of Maryland and the mayor of Baltimore said to him. I want to actually pull this up real quick. I got it up, and let's check this out, because this is directly. We knew we were going to be on this DC story for a while, and anything related to it. But let's just play this here real quick. And here we go.
You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. Baltimore and Oakland, we don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone.
The reality is that DC's violent crime is at a 30-year low. I think it's very notable that each and every one of the cities called out by the president has a black mayor. My city in Baltimore, we have the fewest amount of homicides through this date on record. That's 50 years, a 50-year low. Maybe we are too far gone from the broken right-wing policies of zero tolerance policing and all the things that did not make our city safer for all those many years. We know that having the military there is not the way to do it. The way to drive down violence in cities has been proving. Mayors across the country have brought together law enforcement, the legal community, the actual community through community violence intervention work to reduce violence across this country and cities to lows that we have not seen in decades. The president could learn a lot from us instead of throwing things at us.
You look at Chicago.
Yeah. And that's just it. That is absolutely it. And I love it. And something you said earlier, that history is not going to be kind to these folks, but let's not miss the point that in order for history to not be kind to these people, and it's dependent on the media and our mainstream media to call it out. Now, fortunately, we're in a time where social media exists, and we get a lot of things on camera that we may not have gotten from the mainstream media in the past. But there are people that are standing in the gap, and we can get into the story if we'd like. Is that MSNBC like fact checking him while he's talking? Showing the actual statistics up in the background while the president is speaking, and really just pointing out the fact that he's lying. That he's saying these things. He had to declare a state of emergency in the District of Columbia. And I'm just going to get off on a side here for a second. If he wants to declare a state of emergency on something, he ought to declare a state of emergency on the rats in the city of Washington, D.C. And I'm not talking the people. I'm talking the literal rats. I was down in D.C. a few months ago and I tell you that place is infested with rats.
So, as bad as New York?
Worse. And these are big boys. We stayed in an Airbnb there, and every single place on the block had those big old rat traps set up. And you see them running around on the street. I'm like, are you kidding me? They look like cats. Anyway, so if you want to declare war on something, President Trump, if you want to make D.C. a great city, get rid of the rats, including the ones in your administration. That was free.
Yeah.
Anyway,
listen, let's stay there real quick, because the chat is going nuts. The co-hosts are going, listen, Anita said he's installed the administrator of the DEA as the emergency police chief of DC, supplanting the black female chief. So when we look at the administration, when we look at the cabinet, there's one black guy, and he's the one who prays. They got to have a black. It's the illusion. It's the illusion. They're still holding up the illusion. And they know that after a while, even that's going to go away, because we don't want anybody that's not on board. This is not a democracy, people. Not in their eyes. We had enough of that. And again, unfortunately, fiscal irresponsibility, social unrest, you left the cracks wide enough for him to come in, run on the cracks, and then actually do something totally different, because America wasn't holding it wasn't. And again, look, let's just be real here. The problem is this: we have a shadow government, and that's it. It's a shadow government. There are people who claim to run this country, don't run the country, and that's the problem. And it's always been leading up to. That's what changed my view on elections, on media. Once I saw that the people who own the media were putting both candidates against each other, so no matter who wins, we win. Anytime you fund both sides of the war, and I don't know why I continue to get. I don't want to. I just want to. If we don't call the main thing, then we're talking about things that are not really the real issue. And so we can't plan on fake. We can't prepare for fake issues. We can't. We need to know what the truth is. And the truth is that we can see where our allegiances are. We can see where our allegiances have been. We can see who runs the nation, who can't be criticized. We can see that, now we got our guy in, and this is not about what y'all think, because we have always had plans for world domination. We accused the Democrats of being the globalists, and yeah, that was cool, but we really wanted a major globalist, king type that we could actually ally with. And so these are the things that make all of these other things. He's just doing what this group that he's allied with. And again, I'm not going to say these names because we already know they own everything. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I can continually, Curtis, have these conversations with our co-hosts and we not really put our finger on what's the real issue. Who's the biggest lobby? Who's really running this thing?
Well, we know. We all know what that is. And
now, now the plan becomes, if we know, then how do we adjust our plan now? Because the knowing part that they run this whole thing, we got to look at what their long-term plan is and figure that these are just puppets, not Trump though. And again, this is my opinion. Trump's not a puppet. Trump's the one they call the Messiah. You look it up. Trump's the one they call the Messiah. There's a Jewish guy that said, hey, Trump's our first Jewish president. And Trump just sat there and he said, well, if he's not, he should be. So these are the conversations that are running the country now. It's
funny, though.
Go ahead.
It's funny because Trump has
plans on going into this. Curtis asked me, he said, you going to talk about this today? I said, no.
Listen, we go where the spirit leads us, brother. Trump has a history, even since he's been in office, of being somewhat anti-Semitic or borderline anti-Semitic. And yet, that's why I'm confused by his stance. Maybe confused is the wrong word. Thrown off a little bit by his whole stance of really you're throwing people in jail because they protested against Israel. I'm like, wait a second. Now you can't even throw them in jail for protesting the United States. You can't even deport them for protesting the United States. Yet we are deporting people, locking them up, detaining them, whatever you're calling it these days, because they protested the treatment of people in Gaza. Something is off here, and there's a connection that needs to be made. Maybe we shouldn't make it in this venue, but
yeah,
there is something that to be said. And
I just want everybody to keep that in the back of their minds. I want them to keep it in either the back or the front, because everything else, you cannot plan for an enemy you're acting like isn't there. Yeah. You can't plan for an adversary that you're acting like isn't there. So if the adversary is there, then you have to look at not who they are, what is their true plan. And if their true plan involves the takeover involves this, then let's plan for that and see that they are doing that. And what is it? What is the end they're going for? They believe their Messiah is here. They believe their Messiah is going to give them worldwide power and dominance and global life. And they believe their Messiah is going to come and murder and kill anyone who's not with them. This is the enemy you got to plan for. So again, let's, I don't know if the people who are trying to fight know what they're fighting against. But again, this week in Black America, we have multiple components. We're going to tell you what happened this week, and we're going to tell you kind of what we believe concerning the spiritual aspects of what's happening. And again, this ain't a righteous people. This ain't a righteous government. These are people who are destroying and killing, and they believe that the only person who would give us authority to do this unchecked, nobody's going to, is the Messiah. So if you come in and you clear the way and you give us, you get rid of Gaza, get rid of this. Oh man, these Muslims that's on the Dome of the Rock, can you get rid of them too? Oh, that's the guy right here. All right, let's get back to
Anita makes a good point, talking about the fact that this president claims to be such a law and order president, even though he's a convicted felon. We'll leave that point off to the side for now. And he pardoned all those people that were insurrectionists from January 6th. We'll put that over on to the side too. But he claims to be a law and order president. Then there's a black police officer that was just killed this last week at the CDC mass shooting thing event, which we seem to have pretty much several times a week these days. He didn't even mention that. He didn't even mention it. I don't even think I heard him publicly say anything about it. So we know what this president is about.
Soul Still Burns said Trump is the answer to the globalist system. That's why they all hate him in politics. Then he said, the real racists are white liberals that think you guys can't think for yourselves, like you can't get an ID to vote. The ones who pity you and are the party of slavery. Well, who flies the Confederate flag? Yeah. Who flies the Confederate flag? Soul Still Burns. You've been sadly misinformed. And here's the thing. We don't operate under the way if you did a little digging, which you won't, you would actually find out that the party, this has nothing to do with a party. This has to do with a people that was brought to this country, stolen from their country, enslaved. And at this point, the people here don't really know what to do with them, Democrat or Republican. Right. And this is where we are right now. The Democrats have no idea how to take us to where we want, because there's a level of people in this country who will never allow us to get to where we want. We've built over 100 black successful cities. Why have you never heard of them? Because they've tried to wipe them from your history. They've tried to wipe them. They have and tried to wipe them from your memory where you wouldn't even be taught about them. You can actually go to Google right now, Soul Still Burns. You can type in 100 black cities destroyed, and you'll see they were government sanctioned, destroyed by floods, eminent domain. When you go to buy a house, there's a reason why a mortgage company can't redline against you. There's a reason why you have actual equal fair housing policy. Why? Because it was used against us to destroy our cities. It was used if we had a black city and hundreds of people wanted to move there to start community and continue to grow it. They said, no, we're not going to give you loans there so the city can't grow. Eminent domain, putting highways right through our city, separating where we live from where we worked. These are all things that the government did. It's not, you don't have to worry about us and our thinking. You couldn't understand our thinking. But if you truly wanted to understand, you would just go to Google and you would do a little research to understand. You're sadly misinformed. Yeah. And many of us don't want to be here anymore. We're not trying to go along and get along anymore. We don't want to be here. And many of us understand what's coming to this country. God is just. And the fact that you promote and you see, if you claim to be anybody who fears God, God wouldn't do the things that we're doing. that we're allowing in this country, killing innocent people, children. No right or wrong. I don't care what your excuse is. Well, they came. God would not. So you're pushing an unrighteous government forward. You're pushing, and it's not about the government that was here before this government. It's about this government now. Joe Biden is not president. Nobody wants to talk about Joe Biden. We are talking about this president. Joe Biden is gone in retirement. We're talking about where we are today. And if you don't have the same energy right now about the killing that's going on, about what you're seeing, the strangers, don't tell me you read the Bible. Don't tell me you read any of this. They're doing everything Jesus said don't do, doing nothing that Jesus said do, killing innocent people, taking the strangers in our land, pulling them out. And the last thing is you don't even know your own country, because your country is the one that said liberty, justice for all. Your country is the one that wrote in religious freedom. So how do you get mad at people who came here to get what was advertised?
Right.
They fled other countries to come and get what was advertised. You can be free here. You can serve any God you want to serve here. You can have your own sexual preference. We are for all. We already fled a daggone government that was trying to tax us. That's why we rebelled against them. You don't even know your own government. And so don't talk about black issues if you have not dove in, studied us, study what your country has done to us, sanctioned by the government under their authority, and then tried to act like we never did it, gaslight us to the 100th degree. We build 100 cities over 100 years, and they try to act like to our children we never built them. Come on.
Yeah. Soul Still Burns. Pick up a book. Do a simple search. Research and you will find, because you've just stated so many things that are not accurate. We're not the black folks. In case you don't know, most black people in this country are actually doing very well. You know, they're not looking for a government handout. You know, it's like most of the people are well above the poverty line, not living in squalor. So, you know, clearly, even if something you say has some truth to it, you miss the nuance. You miss the nuance of what's going on in this country. So, you know, your opinions are yours, and everybody can have one of those. That's good. But
I said nothing that wasn't true. I said nothing that wasn't true. I tried to reason with you. And this is why we just leave you to God. Because the prophecy, you have no idea what is at the door of your country. And that's the only justification that we have. The only, Curtis, me and you, we talk about this stuff. We've been talking about this for the last year. Mm-hmm. There's a reason Soul Still Burns that our people, the blacks among us who descend from the transatlantic slave trade, are not out in droves taking vengeance into our hands, going into your neighborhoods and tearing y'all up. There's a reason. We are inherently God-fearing people. Inherently. You wouldn't understand that. So your people murder kings when they're 3 because of a fear of retribution. Your people go out, and if he's the heir to the throne, they're going to take him out when he's 3, 5, 8, 10. Because you seen Godfather? You seen the Godfather? Mm-hmm. They wanted to take out Vito Corleone for what they did to his mother when he was young.
Right.
Because he knew
one day he's going to grow up.
They knew one day he's going to grow up, and he's coming for us, and he did. That's your people. Us, we believe that the prophecy, even if we all don't know it, we believe that the prophecy says y'all going to be taken care of. And what I'm here to tell you is, if you really knew the Bible, you would be repenting for yourself and your people, because what's at hand for your country right now, what's at hand for this nation, it's written about very thoroughly in the books. Oh, the United States ain't in the Bible because we all gonna be raptured up to heaven and we gonna be with the Lord before all the destruction comes. Okay, the devil is a liar and he's lied to you.
Mm-mm.
What's at the door for your nation is harsh judgment. Y'all don't even see it. States flooding. That's your plague right now.
We see it all.
That's your plague right now. You don't even, you're so up on your high horse because you have a leader you believe in that's going to take you to a promised land. You don't even understand the hand of God is against your nation.
Mm-mm.
Texas, New Mexico, North Carolina, New York, Chicago, historic floods. Then what we see yesterday, Tennessee, it ain't stopping. You won't even repent. Nobody won't even go to your people and say, you know what? What's going on here? Seems like God is against us. That's all right. Because you are arrogant, because y'all stand in that arrogance, he's going to turn it up more for y'all. Y'all not ready for what's happening next. That's where we are as black people. We don't have to pray for your downfall. It's written. And if you don't repent and get this hate out of your heart, because if you can back a person full of hate, you got hate in your heart. So if you don't get that out of your heart, you're going to be taken when this hits. So everybody can be saved. Praise the Lord. Thank God for Jesus. Thank God for mercy. You can save yourself. You can't save your nation. It's written. You can save yourself if you repent. But if you can't save this nation. So that's where we are as black people. That's the message I want to get out to my black brothers and sisters. Relax, take solace, relax, sit back. Let the hand of the Lord do what he said he's going to do. Because these people are bold, big-hearted, speak bold words against us, speak bold words against God, speak bold words in their unrighteousness, won't repent for anything they did, won't study what they did, will continue to do it. Got a leader that if he does it, they'll continue to do it. Watch God. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Well, stay with your chest, brother.
Welcome to the show, Soul Still Burns.
Welcome, but don't come uninformed. Don't come uninformed, folks. Listen. We try and bring you up to date on what's going on, but we want you to fill in the gaps. Show some studiousness on your own and take a look at some of these things. But anyway,
we got more stories. We got more stories to talk about, Curtis. Let's move on.
Maybe we'll circle back on this. Neither of us are affiliated with any particular political party, but right now, I think you have to, even if you are unaffiliated, I think that you have to do something politically. We have a two-party system. So you have to vote for somebody, right? Well, I guess you don't have to because a lot of people did stay at home. But the Democrats, we're seeing some activity. At least, you hear a lot of people complaining about the Democrats just letting the Republicans walk all over them. We've seen now in the state of Texas, the Democrats who just left to keep this whole redistricting issue from moving forward, they've still been out. Now there are rumblings that they have kind of agreed in substance, but not completely. They've agreed that they will end their holdout, so to speak, but they have some conditions associated with it. And it seems to be tied to, in part, what's going on out in California. Now, the state of California, a Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom, has announced that there's going to be a special election on November the 4th of this year, asking the voters to approve a temporary redrawing of U.S. House districts that would net Democrats an additional 5 seats. Same thing that's going on in Texas at the behest of the president, but the difference is that in California, they're asking the people of California if they want to move forward with this first. So that's a clear difference between what's happening in Texas and what's happening in California. And this is in response to what Newsom has been calling the rigging of basically the midterm elections. So this effort the plan seeks to suspend the state's independent redistricting commission and enact new maps only if GOP states move forward with their own redraws. So, and what it is basically they're involving themselves in the same bad behavior that the Republicans are doing in order to force, if you will, a change to the entire system. And you gotta actually, so often the Democrats have been accused of just sitting back and letting the Republicans do whatever they want. So you have to give them some credit for at least being willing to, I use the term fight fire with fire, which might not be appropriate given the amount of fires that we have out in California. But the concept is the same. Is there, when they went low, they're not doing what Michelle Obama said. They're going lower, or they're trying to meet their lowness, if that's appropriate way of terming that. So that's what's going on in California. Thoughts on the redistricting plan for the state of California? And it seems to be completely contingent on whether Texas moves forward with their redistricting plan. Any thoughts on that?
Well, if they go back and forth with redistricting, this could again create just more basis for civil war. If this is the beginning, just again, if we talk about what he's doing in DC concerning federalizing the police, when you have the control of the police department over the state, over the city, then if it goes to Chicago and New York and Detroit and any of these other cities, that could be the same thing we see happening in Texas, creating a reflex from California. Well, what if Florida's next?
Right.
Anywhere where you don't have a mix, like a really concentrated mix of black and white, what if this begins to become the new thing where, well, let's do this next. Let's do Oklahoma next. Let's do wherever, the swing states. And if you're pretty much, if I'm in New Jersey and I know that there's a very divided district purposely, and this is where the blacks are and that's where the whites are, and they kind of have I don't really understand the redistricting as much as somebody like you would, but I'm curious as to if this happens with these two states. Texas does it to benefit the Republicans. California does it to benefit the Democrats. Where does it end? Is this a slippery slope? Or is that just, all right, guys, we just did it. We just wanted to get one apiece and that's over. It's over.
Clearly they're trying to force, and that's what I was saying at the beginning when I was setting this up, is they're trying to force an overall change to the structure. What's happening in Texas is against the norm. They normally only redistrict every 10 years based on the census. As you can see, the census is done on every 10 years. So in 2020 was the last one. The next one's not scheduled till 2030. This is 2025. It's in between. So it's not normal that they would redistrict in this time. And even more so unnormal that the president would request that they redistrict in order for him to gain 5 seats. And he's saying that he deserves those 5 seats because he won the state of Texas. Well, that same logic now is going to be applied to the state of California. You did not win the state of California. So then if we follow your logic, you didn't win the state of California, so you deserve 5 less seats in the state of California. His logic is flawed because if we do that, then we have to run through every state and redistrict, because based on the person that won in the White House or won the White House. So I agree that it's not necessarily, this is probably not the way you would want ideally to go about doing this, but we've seen a Republican Party that doesn't seem to care about the rules. They don't care about the rules. They want to break the rules and ask for forgiveness later, or ask the courts later, or something along those lines.
Right.
So now, for one, I'm happy to at least see that the Democrats are fighting to save the democracy in some way. There are ways to do this within the rules, and they are doing it. We saw it with the people in Texas just leaving and not allowing them to make a quorum. Now we're seeing California and New York is threatening it. I'm sure there are other states that are Democratic strongholds where they might be prepared to do this as well. So it's not ideal, but this is the political environment we find ourselves in right now.
And it's the fight. It's the fight for the democracy,
right?
Like and again, it leads up to that second horseman in Revelation, where there's civil war. He puts it in people's heart to kill each other. There is going to be a civil war because it's just too deep of a divide. It is too deep, and both parties feel like they're fighting for what's right. But we cannot act like what we're seeing is normal. I like what Governor Newsom, who he continues to grow on me as the only person who the prophecy says he's not going to win. So I'm just letting you know the prophecy said he is not going to win, but he is the most charismatic leader. He commands the most kind of, he can go toe to toe. He can go toe to toe. He's not scared, but he said, let's not act like what we're seeing is normal.
Right.
And I think what it just shows, you said this going back 6 months about how this administration thrives on an uninformed electorate. They thrive on that. People who are not going to check, not going to research, not going to do anything to verify even how their own constitution works, even the oaths that are here to protect them, the documents that are here to protect them, the checks and balances. We have totally seen the executive power overreached by, it's like we only have executive power now. And now Congress does what the executive says. Supreme Court, y'all are here to basically protect and interpret the law according to how the executive said it. And if anybody tries to come against how he said it, y'all take care of the legal stuff. Y'all just take care of all the legal stuff. We're gonna have lawyers and all that want to, but it's like separate but equal branches of government is how the country was set up. So when we see this fighting fire with fire, again, it would work until they don't see something they want to see at the midterms. That, Curtis, is when I think, because now we're talking about cheating. See, I think if all things were fair, the people are going to rise, the votes are going to go in, and midterms, no way, shape, or form, even if you were happy with how this administration was running things, the majority of the country, evidenced by the No Kings rallies just 2 months ago when the streets were full for miles with people, show you that the majority of people in America are not happy with the administration, meaning they will go out in 2026 and they will vote new people in, vote new congressmen, new senators in, because they're not happy. But if something happens during that election, which I think there is going to be something that happens, I think there is already set up. I think Elon Musk having all of our information and saying, listen, it's really easy to rig a computer. Hey, it's one line of code. It is one line of code. That's all it is. This is a man who told us it is easy to rig an elect. It is easy to manipulate a computer when it comes to these voting computers. And he had our information and the inside for what, Curtis? 3 months straight?
Yeah.
3 months straight. So I think that's when the war starts. The war starts when they see y'all rigged this midterm. Something with this midterm, because they would lose the power of the House, they would lose the power of the Senate, and he wouldn't be able to do all the things that he's doing because he has all of this majority. But so I mean, again, it's just gearing up to me for something not good, and I don't want to be here when it happens. I'm just telling you, if it was fair, you just said so. Oh well, Michelle Obama said when they go low, we go high. Yes, that was 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago. That was before we started cheating in elections, and then I heard somebody say narcissists, they just can't stop. Even when they commit a crime, they just have to let it be known that we committed the crime. Like it has to get out there, and they can't stop talking about it. It's clips going around all the time about how, hey, I wasn't supposed to be the president, but this, and this, and that Elon and this. But now if it was fair, I wouldn't be concerned. I would be sitting here, y'all, listen, let's get out and vote. Hey, if you don't like it, what President Obama say, don't boo, vote.
Right.
But that's not the case. I believe this is already set up. It's already set up to be stolen. It's already set up for Trump to be in 2028. It's already set up for them to continue to gain power. And then that's the case. Once everyone finds out that it's already set up, that's when the civil war is going to happen. And it's going to be blood in the streets. And I just hope that a lot of us can be out of here by that time.
Well,
it may sound like doomsday, Curtis, but what else is there? And maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe I'll be surprised during the midterms. And it's like, hey, you know what? The midterms work. We went out, we voted, we took control of the House back. And I just mean from this administration, because I'm an independent, you're a non-affiliated voter. But again, if you have a problem with this administration, you are going to be out November of next year, like we never were out before, voting new people in. And if they announce in a couple days that none of those people won and that they still have control, ooh, boy, can y'all imagine what that November is going to look like in these streets?
Yeah. Well, get your passports ready. As Anita said, I got mine. It is up to date. and I keep it with me. Hey, you never know when you might have to go somewhere in a hurry. But anyway, we can move on now.
Yes.
Still, just a little bit more of the foolishness that, not to say that anything we've discussed so far is foolishness, but the Department of Justice is now subpoenas the Attorney General of the state of New York, Letitia James, Black woman. And if you don't know the name Letitia James, she is the AG that sued successfully the 47th president. He wasn't the president at the time. But she successfully sued him for civil penalties that ended up being $454 million. So she got a guilty verdict against him, a judgment of $454 million. And because it is a state penalty, he can't wave his magic federal wand and pardon himself or anything like that. He owes that money. That money is due, or you could end up going to jail, I guess, behind that technically. So now we see the administration going after Letitia James, saying that that they violated Trump's civil rights by going after him. Yeah. So first of all, we see two things. The weaponization of the Department of Justice is one thing, but this is exactly what this president was talking about before that the other people would be doing, right? He's always blaming or saying that the Democrats are doing something underhanded, yet we find him doing the exact things that he is saying that they would be doing. Right? So he's saying that they would weaponize the Justice Department, that somehow his being tried and convicted 34 times for felonies is somehow some sort of retribution, and it was unfair. When we are now seeing his Justice Department doing exactly what he was trying to warn people about. So make it make sense. Make it make sense.
And I just want, if we don't have, you can run your country the way you want to run it. you obviously is a new sheriff in town.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going for any of this. You are going after people who are your enemies. You are using or not even your enemies, just did their jobs. Like people who just did their jobs, didn't necessarily sign up for the job to say, oh, well, if he's on the trial, let me take that one. No, this is where your lot fell. Okay. And she does her job. She gets, she wins the case. And now, okay, now she gets subpoenaed because there's a list. And again, you keep Joe Biden in prayer because he lets it be known. I don't care if you're sick, cancer, bro. Look, I don't care. The minute I could come for you, I'm coming for you.
Yep.
And he's coming at President Obama, threats of treason. We spoke about that last month.
Mm-hmm.
These are very, especially considering the fact that he is building between ICE having a $30 billion a year budget now, funded from the big beautiful bill. The federal government, the National Guard, military. I mean, again, he has the most powerful military and the secret police in ICE. So you look at how he is doing this, it's clear if you don't like this, you need to get out. And again, maybe some people like it, but if you're going to go after the people, you have a list. And it probably starts going back from, you might have lists from people from the 90s, real estate dudes that's still that got deals over them back then, that's getting citations now. Hey, where all these citations coming from, man? Like me, you outbid me. Remember that building you outbid me on back in 91? So it doesn't surprise me. I feel again, and we see in this regard, Curtis, when he goes to political adversaries or people who are against him, do you think this is necessarily black and white? Because I think he goes at everyone. We are seeing a concentration in the way kind of he talks about black people, uses the low IQ a lot. But is this specifically, let me deal with some black people who came at me? Or is this just, hey, you're next on my list of people who came at me and I'm coming at all of you? What do you think? And what co-hosts, what do y'all think?
I'm not sure that this one is black or white. It is just that it's his level of pettiness. You got me, I'm going to get you back type of thing. That seems to be the type of person that he is. So I don't know that this is necessarily driven by racism. It just so happens that the person who is holding that $454 million judgment against him is a black woman. And so he's got to go after them just because of the way he is. That's just the way he is. Our co-hosts are kind of going in here.
Yeah, I see.
Also, Burns, listen, I've not, for one thing, labeled you as anything other than uninformed.
That's it.
And
that's really the problem.
That's where I am with it. I don't have enemies. I love everybody. That's a commandment from Jesus. So that's why I do that. So, if you have your opinion, that's fine. I don't begrudge you having an opinion. Just maybe make the opinion a little bit more informed.
And that's
talking points.
That's the point. Exactly. The point, Soul Still Burns, is we have plenty of people in the audience who will come and we disagree on certain subjects, certain topics, but we have a very informed audience, and our audience doesn't speak on common talking points that we know MAGA feeds you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything you're saying is MAGA feeding points. There is nothing different. So what it lets us know is you're not critically thinking. You're not looking at independent research outside of what the MAGA base or MAGA media is telling you, because there are things that we'll talk about that benefit our move globally. And when I look at globally what President Trump is doing, I like it because he's clearing the deck for us to actually leave this country and have a better deal globally. But when it comes to how he's running the country here, if you cannot criticize anything he's done, then that means you are absolutely in a cult, because there's nobody who agrees with 100% of anyone. I've been married 19 years this month. I love my wife. We don't agree on 100%. I don't even agree 100% of the time with myself. and it's me. I don't agree with myself. So if you can't criticize anything that this president is doing, then that just tells us you're not somebody who we're going to be able to dialogue with. We can reason over plenty of things, but that's not what we're getting from you. And that's the reason why, like, you know, the co-host, you could feel anyway. We ain't making you feel no way. We just telling you, based on you, we disagree on a lot of things. We disagree with a lot of things that are happening. There's a lot of killing being done. There's a lot of people being ostracized, being thrown out of this country, being put in shackles for misdemeanor crimes. Do you know that? Did you know that being in this country without papers is a misdemeanor? Did you know that? Or did they make you think this is some type of high-level criminal offense? So when you look at jaywalking, if you jaywalked and they came and put you in shackles and threw you out the country, you would probably be like, hey, what's going on? I was wrong. Yes, I was wrong. I'll take the charge. But why am I in shackles? So these are the comments. Stop making assumptions because you don't know me. All right, listen, last comment to Soul Still Burns. All right, listen, we try. We try, people. That's all. Listen, but look, one thing I know, you can't reason with people in a cult. You can't. So
we got breaking news here. We got breaking news. I just want to interrupt the broadcast and let everybody know this. Breaking news. The Epstein files still haven't been released. You heard it here first on This Week in Black America. We are still waiting for the Epstein files to be released.
How do you feel as a man with two daughters? Because you got two daughters.
Yeah.
I got two daughters.
Yeah.
Any brothers and sisters on here with daughters? How do you feel knowing that we still have a man who ran on declassifying the JFK files, declassifying the MLK files, and declassifying the Epstein files?
Oops, not that one. Why? What's the difference? Why is this administration dealing so gingerly with this issue? I mean, why are we even dealing so gingerly with a known pedophile? I mean, why is this even a thing? And if you're able to think critically, there can only be one reason. There really can only be one reason why this is a problem. And the one reason is sitting in the White House, right? So the fact of the matter is that we've been told that this was coming. It was a Republican talking point throughout the election. This was going to happen. The head of the FBI is on record as being a proponent of releasing this. The Pam Bondi is gone on record as saying that she had the files and she was looking at it. And what's the problem? We were joking that, the president has many pictures with this known pedophile. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that there are no pictures of me with a pedophile unless they haven't been uncovered yet. unless they're
right. They've been hiding.
Right. Unless they've been hiding all these years and we don't know. But we know for sure that the late Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. And we have pictures with the president, the convicted felon president, cozying up with the known pedophile.
See, so here's the thing. Just diversify, or this is more like hedging. We're talking about jointhecall.org and leaving the country, going before President Trump, not to criticize what he's doing. This your country. You want to do this? Just talk to us about let's get our people, let's get my people and our people out of here. That's it. No problem. You want to do this because I'm telling you, you don't want to wait until midterms to see that something is up here.
Right.
This whole thing, if you're waiting to midterms to see, you should be, if things go this way, I'm good. If things go this way, I'm good. So what we're talking about at Join the Call, we have over 4,500 people signed a petition in 7.5 weeks to leave, make this deal with President Trump. We'll be in D.C. in October talking policy. We're talking policy. We have a $2.1 trillion proposal we're speaking about, sending millions of black people out of this nation in partnership with the U.S., like a geopolitical deal. I don't want to sit here and criticize how you're running your country. This is how you want to do it. It's a new day. Y'all have always done what y'all wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have always done it. Independent of how black people feel, y'all have done it. So if this is where y'all going with this thing now, no problem. Let's just make a deal to get our people out of here, because that's only going to help y'all. The less of our people y'all have here that don't want to be here, the more y'all can continue to do what y'all want to do, unchecked, have at it. Deal with y'all white brothers and sisters that don't want to, that's going to stay here and fight y'all. But if we can, but black people have been quiet, silent. They pulling us into these lawsuits, and the mayors and our young black mayors that's just been sitting in our cities, making crime better, lowering crime, historic record lows. Now y'all pulling them into this stuff because it's like, let us just, so again, I want to be clear that that's where we're talking about. I don't want to sit here and accuse this dude. That's how he running things now, y'all. It's a new sheriff in town. This is not even 2016. This ain't 2020. This ain't the first Trump term. This is Trump 2028. Preparing for Trump 2028. So let's hedge, jointhecall.org, sign a petition. We have a meeting of leadership this Saturday. We are preparing a governing body. We're not here talking. We have an entire governing body setting up right now to manage nation. Same way the Jewish people did it. Jewish people ran a nation without land. Okay. I want y'all to I want y'all to hold on to that. Jewish people had no land, but they ran a nation. That's what we're doing right now. We're setting up the economy, the diaspora HQ economy, the governing body to everything is going to flow through that body. When the land comes, why was Israel so set up? Why were the Jewish people so set up? Because we had already been running where we were, connected where we were. Not all of us. There's plenty of people say I'm Jewish, but I don't practice. We don't need all Jewish people. We just need this group of people. And so that's what I'm telling you guys. Because you're going to get tired after a while of just criticizing Trump and saying, yo, this is that hedge with us. And again, I don't want everybody, when we come and do that show that week, Curtis, after midterms, that's what's going to be, people going to be losing their minds. And I would rather you guys who have been with us for the last couple months to be like, well, Deshaun and Curtis was talking about that. This was kind of preparing us for the fact that this ain't going to be the bright day that everybody thinks it's going to be. Oh, everything's going to change after midterms. We're going to get them out of here. We telling y'all, if the prophecy is correct concerning this, he's the last president. He's the last one to come. And then he's a king. And he takes over a good portion of the world. Not just the United States. He expands multiple territories. He's a king. He comes into town and he got people with him. They come into town and people welcome them like kings.
You see what he's doing with this was just actually on the news, I think last night. or maybe I saw it on social media, but he's trying to build like a whole new ballroom for the White House that's bigger than the entire White House itself, 90,000 square foot ballroom. We saw that he basically grazed over the Rose Garden and made like some kind of patio. We see the ridiculous ornate gold that he's now got all over the White House. You don't do this if you're preparing to give it over to somebody else in 4 years, right? These are actions that he's taken that indicate that he is planning on being here past 2028. So, I mean, open your eyes. That doesn't take a lot of sense to figure that out. You don't do this kind of $200 million project to refurbish the White House if you're planning on leaving in 3 years. So, that's think critically.
Good point. And that Rose Garden is pretty important.
What's happening around you, right?
Wasn't that Rose Garden like, who didn't the president's wife or something plant that? And it's been like there since she planted it. Nancy Reagan or something?
No, I think it might have been before that. It might have been, I'd just be guessing.
Eleanor
Roosevelt is the one that comes to mind for me, but
can we verify when the White House Rose Garden was planted that Trump just he totally
he
took
just
it out, he flattened it?
Flattened it out. There's no roses. There's no roses in the Rose Garden anymore. It looks like a patio.
We got Mick in the background. Mick, thank you, Mick, for always being our source of research in addition to the co-host. Mick, can you find out when the actual Anita came in?
Oh, Anita said it was Johnson's wife, Lyndon Johnson's wife.
Lyndon Johnson's wife. So what year was that about? Was that the 50s? 60s?
64, 63-ish. Well, wait a second. When was Kennedy assassinated? 63. So, yeah, he took over in 63.
DC O'Fly said, wasn't it Jackie Kennedy?
Well, it's the same time frame.
All right, can we bet? Wait, Mick came in 2025 in his second term. Wait. Yeah, Mick, I see. Trump ordered the Rose Garden central lawn to be replaced with a paved patio area. Construction. But when was the paved patio area? When was it originally planted? When was the Rose Garden originally planted? 1902? No way, Pamela. Somebody has to verify this. Pamela said 1902. So we've heard Jackie Kennedy, we've heard Lyndon Johnson, and then we heard 1902. Please, somebody let us know. Well, it's a long time, but to your point, Curtis, do you come in and you do a $200 million renovation, and you're leaving in 3.5 years?
Exactly. And he said he was going to pay for it out of his pocket, which we know is a lie. We know that's a lie.
Oh, she's right.
So the White House,
Pamela's right.
The West Wing of the White House was originally established 1913 by Lady Ellen Wilson, the wife of Woodrow Wilson. Shout out to New Jersey. I think Woodrow Wilson was a New Jersey guy.
Before becoming the Rose Garden, the area was a colonial style garden. So it was a garden.
Yep.
Created first by Lady Edith Roosevelt in 1902. Pam, you get the prize. Pamela gets the prize.
Right. 1902 is when it was originally established.
We're going to tear up 120-year-old.
For my 3-year term, we're going to just put a patio out here. We're going to put a grill. We're going to be having some cookouts on the White House Rose Garden lawn. That is no lawn anymore. So, I mean, okay. We're joking about it, but think about it logically, right? You're not going to do all these renovations. You were in real estate, right? You're not going to do all these renovations if you're planning to stay. You just do the basic stuff that you want to do.
Yep. Touch up.
If you're not going to be there for years and years, you're not planning to make that your permanent home. You just do the stuff to make yourself comfortable for the time you're there. You don't go into doing these exorbitant renovations unless you think you can recoup the value when you sell the house. He's not going to be able to sell the White House. Well, I don't know.
Hey.
Who knows?
Remember who
it's saying what he can't do anymore.
Everything's for sale.
Exactly.
And you know what? That's a
White House up for sale. Like,
Uh-huh.
listen, I can get a good price for the White House.
Kathar said, "Thou shalt not remove your neighbor's landmark."
Oh, boy.
Apparently, he didn't receive. Listen, 100+ year history paved over, and you like you said, you don't do that. Did you say he said he's paying for it out of his pocket?
That's what I saw him say that on the news. Oh, that's right. I'll use my own money. Because one reporter asked him,
Because it's my house. Because it's my house.
The reporter asked him specifically if he was going to be allowing foreign investors to invest in this $200 million renovation for the ballroom, and he basically, that's when he said, "Yeah, I'll just use my own money." Trump doesn't,
because it's his house. But it ain't gonna use his own money for sure.
No,
he can raise that money.
That's what he said. He's going to be able to raise the money.
He can raise that money as a real estate investor. He can, hey, I'm going to renovate the White House. It's easy.
Raise the money overnight.
That's it. It's easy. But to the main point, I have no plans to not be in here. I'm not going to decorate this place, create a bigger, better, more famous Mar-a-Lago to leave.
Sexco, somebody called it here.
Yeah,
I love our colors.
Listen, it's just, the shoe fits. This is prove us wrong.
If it quacks like a duck,
release the files. Because here's the thing: you could literally prove everybody right. Hey, I'm gonna shut y'all all up and just release the files, and then hey, you know what? But at this point, the files are so tampered with.
They've been redacted so many times.
Right.
Have you seen the reports that they hired hundreds of people to go through the Epstein reports and redact all the times that 47's name was in there? Anyway,
right.
In case you missed it, breaking news: the Epstein report has not been released yet.
And get black with me. I appreciate you. She made a couple. I feel like she knows. Sometimes I need people to talk me off the ledge because I gotta warn. I'm here to warn. That's specifically part of my calling in this world right now. So even a person who is uninformed, she said, that person is being a distraction like his mentor. And I wish I'd have saw that comment sooner. Like the con artist in chief, some people need all the attention they can get.
Con artist,
and that sometimes, because we don't typically have we have a phenomenal audience. Like even new people. My man Ron T. I mean, Ron T. We'll see Ron T. popping every couple weeks, and when he comes, it's just like boom, boom, boom. He's always coming with wonderful thoughts. We got daggone Kathar. Yeah, we got Anita. I think we missed Benita this week. DCO Fly, Pamela. We're researching in the comments. Y'all like, hey, no, let's check here. Let's check this. This is our group. So it's kind of like you don't know who someone is until you spend a little time talking to them. Mm-hmm. And but again, I want to do a better job of we got to recognize when a person just is just not us. And I mean it. So, and I mean, going back to a brother, I know if he's still on, if you're willing to dialogue, we like that. And sometimes we got to be able to know who we're talking to though, because we'll be dialoguing with the wrong person. It ain't going nowhere. If we can have great discussion and we just disagree on a bunch of stuff, but we can have some good discussion about it. I can learn something. You can learn something. Okay, let's do it. Yep. That's what we like to do here. But it's not until we've been pulled into the kind of deep end and it's like, no, that ain't going nowhere. So I appreciate you Get Black with me for letting it be known. There's a particular character. They all look the same, sound the same, feel the same, and the conversations go nowhere. It's like,
well, we continue here in our examination of our demon season that we find ourselves in.
Demon season. Who's that? Anita?
Last week.
Who coined that term? Anita?
All week long, I have been using that term that we are in demon season. And I really haven't found a more appropriate moniker, frankly.
Who coined that? Was that Anita last week? Or was that Benita that coined demon season?
I don't know. But I have not seen a more accurate description of where we are in this country right now, and this story will undergird that. The KKK You know, the Ku Klux Klan. Flyers have surfaced out in the Cincinnati area where the white supremacist flyers linked to the KKK were discovered in Cincinnati neighborhoods, specifically College Hill, Madisonville, and South Cumminsville, encouraging white residents to arm themselves against purported vicious attacks from those of color. Shortly after a widely publicized fight at the Cincinnati Music Festival, residents expressed deep disappointment and rejection of this divisive messaging. And as one College Hill resident put it, "We were truly disappointed." Another added, "This is not acceptable in this neighborhood or anywhere in the city. The Cincinnati Police Intelligence Unit is actively investigating, and the NAACP local chapter condemned the flyers as attempt to sow division and potentially recruit for extremist groups." So, you know, the KKK has been going on and going strong for probably 100 years or more. Black Panthers are gone. They destroyed them. How many other organizations that were put up to kind of uplift the black folks that are now gone, but the KKK is still strong.
All of them.
You know?
We can't have neighborhood defense without.
Listen, don't have four of y'all standing on the corner trying to protect your neighborhood because the cop's going to run through like, what y'all doing? What's going on? Now, if you four people put hoods on and stand in a different neighborhood, it's cool. It's all right.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle. You saw the white clan, the black clans member skit. Go ahead.
So, a couple things come to mind. I mean, this is just welcome to America, spelt with the KKK, like our friend K. Dot might say, Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Cincinnati. Now, we've read in months past, there's been some racial unrest in Cincinnati before. We talked even before the show. It wasn't it Cincinnati where these jokers showed up with guns and some brothers with guns showed up and said, "No, not today, Satan. Not in this neighborhood." And just a bit of information. Ohio's an open carry state. So, you know, you can come out there and people coming out there strapped all day, every day, walking the streets. Black people, like the Black Panthers used to do back in the day, even though their guns weren't loaded when they were doing it. Today, them brothers got their guns loaded. And, you know, the sad thing is that this is all a precursor to what you were talking about earlier, is an armed fight within our borders. Another civil war, perhaps, is what you might want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But people with all these guns, all this division, all this vitriol, politically and otherwise, it's a perfect storm. It really is just a perfect storm for seeing the makings of some sort of civil unrest, some sort of civil conflict, some sort of armed conflict within this country again. If you can't see the perfect storm brewing right now, all the ingredients are there. We just need the right thing to set it off. And that's unfortunate. All we need is the right spark. And this country can go up in flames in probably a matter of days. And it's sad to say. It's sad to think about. It's even sad to even consider it. But that's how delicate this democracy is. This could all go up. We're talking about midterms. We may never get to the midterms. This country could implode at any time right now. It's a tinderbox. It's a tinderbox. And it's waiting for a spark. And unfortunately, that spark could come at any time. So to get back to just circling back to what we were talking about earlier, even if you don't believe any of what Brother Deshaun was saying about prophecy, about this country being in the Bible and there's retribution for the country, the handwriting's on the wall. You need to be ready to act. You need to be ready in the next couple of years. If your money ain't right, if you don't have the freedom to be able to leave this country or to leave your circumstances and go someplace better, you might be left behind. And I'm going to tie it back to the thing we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the Ryan Coogler the Ryan Coogler
Hurricane Katrina.
The Hurricane Katrina documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, a lot of those people end up losing their lives because they weren't ready. They weren't prepared to leave. Sadly, they didn't have, the storm came at the end of the month rather than the beginning of the month. Had the storm come at the beginning of the month, a lot of those people that were on public assistance and things like that might have had the funds to actually get up and get on a bus and leave, or some other way to leave. They weren't ready. We are telling you, and we've been telling you in this show for a while now, you need to be ready, because something's happening. Whether you affix it to some sort of spiritual thing, or if you just look and see critically what's happening in the world, something's going on. And then you need to be prepared. We want our audience to be prepared. Don't let this just sneak up on you, folks. Brother Deshaun has already said it today. His goal and his job in this season is to warn people. We are warning you every Friday at 12 o'clock. We get on and we tell you what's happening. But part of that is as a warning for you to understand these folks don't want you here. It might be time to pack up and go. It might be time to pack. If you're not considering that, you're not being honest with yourself, I think.
And did you see this? Well said. Again, we just want to hammer certain things home. This episode, I feel like we have. It's just a particular episode where we're just going to kind of double and triple down on certain warnings, because I think as the temperature gets turned up, there's going to, you guys, y'all know we do enough laughing here. We do enough laughing here. We will throw out jokes. I think all of us have a good sense of humor. But as the temperature gets turned up, we've seen the federalization of the police force this week. After a while, you can't laugh through everything. When we're not here to just warn without instruction. Yeah. It's not like, just warning without instruction or without a plan is fear mongering. That you just want people scared then. No, the warning is, jointhecall.org. Yep. And so now let's go back to something Anita said about this fight that happened in Cincinnati concerning these KKK flyers. Now, when I pulled the video up, check this out for those of y'all who are watching us on YouTube.
Police have arrested a fifth suspect in connection with this violent brawl in Cincinnati that's put the city on edge. Officials saying it was a verbal altercation that quickly turned physical, though it's still unclear what led to the violence. Authorities now investigating this video showing a man on the ground who can be heard shouting a racial slur.
So now check this out. He already got chipped up. He's on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at my people, we don't just start fights for no reasons with each other sometimes, but even it's still a reason. It's still a reason. It's still, whether the reason might be foolish, the reason might be something where we should have had better emotional control of, but we don't just go out hitting people in the face for no reason. So the fact he's on the ground and he's still saying racial slurs, we put your detective hat on. You don't have to have a big, it don't have to be a good one for you to determine that this white dude clearly said something to somebody and they found out this ain't our ancestors, bro. You're not going to leave here. You're going to leave in one piece. I ain't going to take you out as well, but you're going to feel it tonight and this week. And so what Anita said was, she said, I know y'all know already, but it was a white Russian, not the drink, who started that fight in Cincinnati. Anita, you are hilarious. Yes. So
you know what? There's nothing worse than starting to fight and then you get your butt kicked.
100%.
I mean, there cannot be a worse feeling in life than for you to act like a bad bully, get out there talking all big, and then get lumped up. your eye looking like Martin on the boxing.
Tommy Hearns episode.
Tommy Hearns, so you looking like that, all lumped up, because you and your racist self decided to. And I can relate to this because every fight I got into in school was because somebody calling me the N-word or telling me to go back to Africa. Now, had I thought about it, had I known then what I know now, I wouldn't have been so insulted about that. But, that was then. And people always started. Hawk Newsom always said, leave black folks alone.
Right.
Leave us alone. We're not trying to mess with y'all. We just want to live. We just want the same things we want to take care of our families. We want to live in peace and harmony with one another. We want to be able to make a living. The things that everybody wants. We want to raise our families in peace and security. That's all we want. Leave us alone.
Right. The help was never supposed to be free. The help was never supposed to be free. And there's no plan for the help being free. My sister broke something down to me concerning even every amendment was set up to protect them, not us. So she was going down because she's a Marine, and she just was like, each one, the right to bear arms. It was so that they could take up arms against y'all. It was everything. The way she was breaking down, I said, one day I gotta have her on the show to break that down, because it's everything that's set up. Even when it looks like it was for us. I mean, voting rights. But look how long that took. Look how, 1965. But that stuff, but the original Constitution, this was never for us. So right now we're in a place where it's just like, man, they here. Why can't we? It's like, why can't we get them out of here? What are we going to do with them? And so that's the tone. It's coming through. And that's why I think we're chilling. We're sitting in the background because we don't even know. You're not. You saw. There's a report that I don't know. Maybe one of you guys can pull it up, or Mick. Maybe you can pull up how many black women, especially, lost their jobs in the last 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, a lot.
Historic.
Mostly impacted black women.
Historic numbers.
Yes.
Of black women lost their jobs. So, like you said, Curtis, we just want to live. We just want to go to work, feed our families. We not good with that. Not here. Not here. So, Anita said he started it. Pamela said the white Russian slapped a black man in the face. Oh, it's a good one.
And he got tied up.
That's a good one.
He got lumped up.
Y'all better play these. Listen, they ain't playing that Alabama brawl. That joint need to be played by all races. You are not. It ain't gonna end well for you. All right. Anita said he started it, and the white woman with him. Usually, that sounds about white. But that's even the local media not reporting the truth. Yep, people who posted it told the real truth. Phones everywhere, people. And thank God. Anita gave us the statistics. Over 300. Mick came in. Yeah.
Mick came through with it.
Yep. Based on recent reports and data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, over the last 3 months, an estimated 300,000 black women have exited. No, they didn't, or been pushed out of the workforce.
Yeah.
So you talk about a system, Curtis. What do we do? We kind of feel like we're in limbo. We're just waiting for God to just do what he does. Because it's like, what can you do? You cannot go and assimilate. They're just not letting us. They're not letting us into the system. This system doesn't include us. Unless you got your own business, you're doing something on the side, content creator, you got a little, service business, and you just out the way. But if you're going into some of these, first person I knew that was affected was my sister's wife. My sister's wife, when she the next day after President Trump was elected, now mind you, the company she works for, I won't name the company, great company. We know the company. One of the companies that stood up when, a lot of the other companies was backing down. She's been with this company 12, 13 years. She done moved up. She told me, I remember over 10 years ago, she said, my goal is to run my own store one day. And she hopscotching It's like hopscotch through positions. It's like one day she this, then she a manager, then she over this department, now she an assistant, and she's like second. The only people over her in the store was an assistant general manager and the general manager. That was it. 3 managers above her. When I tell you, the day after President Trump got elected, we went out to breakfast later, and she's like, "Man, you know, they tied her up in a basically they said the new role she had for a year wasn't being accounted properly." I said, so we sit there and we talk. We're like, wait a minute. So what about the people that trained you though? Like, no, they said nobody stood up. They said that the reports were wrong and that the money that was accounted for was incorrect. I said, wait a minute. So the people who were over you, didn't they have to give the reports to the higher ups that you were creating? Yeah, every month. So nobody that was over you actually got the report and said, nah, you know what, let's fix this. Who trained you to do this like this? 12 months of reports were inaccurate? Yeah, they never told me. This is how they trained me to do it. And then they demoted her. Now, she already told me because she's gay and a black woman, again, up until this, never had a problem. Hopping over positions.
That is 3 strikes right there. She's black, she's a woman, and she's gay.
Yeah,
that's strikeout.
But never affected her for 11, 12 years. She went from here to here. She's probably gone through 4 positions higher up, promotion. But she said when the person came in, the VP, one of the VPs flew in, and they came up and they said, hey, he said, because we talking about all of this. Because again, this is a company that we out here rallying for because they're the good company. Some of y'all know who we talking about. I just don't want to say their names on here. But I'm like, so tell me, so did you ever see any signs? She said, when I got this last department head position, one of the VPs came in, white man, and he came to meet with all the department heads, and he said, hey, I'm looking for, he walked right past me. I had my hand out, uniform on. He said, oh, I'm looking for the head of this department. She said, hey, yeah, that's me. How you doing? My name is such and such. And he looked at her like, and so I said, that's the vibes you got from him. See, the problem is until he had somebody who he could, you don't fit the look. You don't fit, black woman, black man. You don't fit the look of running this department. And right now, all right, I got a problem with it, but I can't do anything about it because maybe you tie me up in lawsuits. Now I'm in discriminatory lawsuits and all of that. Who wants to go through that? But with this administration, we can't even get a lawsuit. No attorneys want to take these cases because they're like, we're just not going to win.
Nothing.
Just bow out. But I got evidence and everything. Yeah. Just bow out.
That's not going to work for you.
That's not going to work today. So that was the first person, Curtis, that I saw the day after President Trump got elected when I saw, oh, everything's about to change concerning the workforce and what's happening behind the scenes with our people on these jobs.
Demon season. Let's move on. I really thought that we were going to get through all of these. And I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, maybe we won't. But we're doing okay. We don't spend a lot of time on this. Just the sad story out of the state of Alabama. Ethelyn Stewart was a woman, a black woman, who has filed a wrongful death lawsuit after her 3-year-old son, Katorius KJ Starks, died from heat exposure when a state contracted caregiver, Kalia Stanford, left him in the car for over 5 hours instead of returning him to daycare following a supervised visit with his father. Temperatures outside exceeded 105 degrees, and the inside the locked vehicle, it soared likely past 140 degrees. KJ was found unresponsive, pronounced dead. Stanford has been arrested and charged with felony child endangerment. The lawsuit also names her employer, Covenant Services, Inc., and multiple Alabama Department of Human Resources employees allegedly systemic oversight failures in protecting children in state custody. Terrible, 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 terrible story of a toddler, three-year-old losing his life. They don't care about our lives, folks. It doesn't matter how old, how young, whether you're a good guy, bad guy, they don't care. They don't care about us. There's no way that a 3-year-old should have been left in this car
Oh, that was a white woman? That was a white caregiver?
I don't know. I do not know.
Well, still, it's worse.
I can only suspect.
Okay.
I can only suspect. And I'll look into it a little further.
Somebody,
but the fact of the matter is that we have children. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it, and I'll just leave it there. Had that been a dog left in the car, somebody would have seen it and made a report. Somebody would have said something about a dog being left in the car for more than 10 minutes. And yet we have a child, a black child, 3 years old, left in his car for 5. That means that nobody was thinking about that child for 5 hours. The person that was responsible for that child was not thinking about that child at all for 5 hours. And it unfortunately has resulted in a tragic loss of life. There's lawsuits been filed, but the lawsuits are never going to bring little KJ back. And, maybe they will get some monetary compensation that, might make the loss a little easier. But how does life get easier when your child is dead? Even though, there's something going on because the child was in foster care, right? But there's nothing to indicate that the parents were not loving parents. They just had a supervised visit with the dad. Just a sad story all the way around. We don't even need to spend a lot of time thinking about it, but it just goes to reinforce or underscore the fact that, we keep saying Black Lives Matter. I'm not a member of any group. That is not a group mantra for me. That is a statement of fact that Black Lives Matter. And the fact that we have to keep saying it is because we keep seeing so many things happen that go opposite to that, even to that school of thought that Black Lives Matter. So
this is Keela Stanford, and she is a black woman, and a shame to this was the child services worker who left him in the car. We don't need to look far for another story of a white person who is going to affect a black life. I think it's the next story. So, so even if this one was a black woman, it is clear. There's in other places, it's just that it's not run that way. And I think my dream, my ideal, it might be too idealistic. I don't think it is to just be in a place in community and country with people who really just love each other and happy to be there. It's safe. It's peaceful. Like the amount of things getting thrown at us between black. See, me and you talk about this a lot, Curtis. Everybody can't come with us. We don't want everyone to come. Not only do I want to get away from the racist whites in this country who I don't want to be around anymore. I don't want to be in this land that you taking over, that you got a leader taking out, but I also don't want to be around the lowest quality black people who've been allowed, who on the backs of 400 years of slavery, and the system hasn't rehabbed you and you haven't rehabbed yourself. You have so it's y'all could have this. Y'all could have I said the brother who we was talking about leaving. He like, man, why would we leave, man? We got to fight for this. We built this. I said, listen, when we sign this deal, and God take us out of this country and we building a nation over in somewhere else, and it's safe and prosperous and wealthy and it's Black America, and you see all types of people coming, and we running tourism, and we got trade alliances with other Black sovereign nations. We just doing trillions in business. Every quality person's coming with us. Yeah. So what you're gonna have left here is the people who, because this woman I'm not talking about this, God bless her, but you took someone's child away in negligence, and I you know, there's a local, those of us who should be protecting our own, some of us are not doing that. That's an example. This is an example of you chose a career where your heart is supposed to be protecting your own, protecting people, and you just didn't do that. And now this young man is no longer with us. So may God have mercy.
Unfortunately, I just need to mention it because it was in our lead up in our rundown earlier. Again, there's an 18-year-old, Giovanni Pelletier, North Carolina young man, disappeared August 1st, visiting his family in Florida. And his mom, his mom's fiance, and his siblings were going to Florida to visit. And the strange thing is that the young man, 18 years old, sent a text to his mom that just read, "Mom, help." And then like 7 days later, his body had been discovered in a retention pond in Manatee County in Florida. And they say there's no evidence of foul play, and an autopsy has been scheduled. So this is one of those things that's still unraveling a little bit. I remember hearing about it on the news, and it seemed a little suspicious to me. We talked about the guys in Georgia that we still haven't heard about the disposition of those two young men that were supposed to be going to flying out the next day to go visit somebody in Boston, and they showed up dead. And then, so we've got our young Black men, and they seem to be happening down there in Georgia and Florida, and you know, folks. And keep your heads on the swivel.
Look at this. I mean, really, don't even go soft on this, Curtis. Like, again, these are some of the conversations I have with my father on a regular basis now. They're back to killing us. Yeah. Like, they're back to remote locations, being in certain towns, being in certain places, hanging. Yeah. Me and my father, we spoke about this yesterday, Curtis. All of a sudden, there's an epidemic of Black men killing themselves, apparently, and they're choosing to do it by hanging themselves.
Now that's crazy.
You get what I'm saying? So all of a sudden we have all of these suicides. So now it's clear with this brother that we have up on the screen, Giovanni Pelletier, his last text, he's in Florida, which my wife says, I'm never going to Florida again. You know, I can't get her to go back to Florida. I don't want to go back. You know, other than, you know, do we want to see Disney one last time? Not that bad.
Hey, go out to the one in California.
Yeah, might need to go to Disneyland. Might go to Disneyland. But this young man, last text is "Mom, help," turns up unalived a week later, and we can't even. Again, helplessness is where we're moving to. We're moving to the point where there's no justice, there's no media covering these stories, so everybody is complicit. What's the name, Mick? Maybe you can pull it, or maybe the co-host, or maybe you might have it off the top of your head, Curtis. What's the brother with our brother who's gone, and we've been trying to get the police footage released for about a month and a half now?
The guy else. Was that Alabama?
Alabama, I believe it is.
Yeah.
We can't.
I don't have the name.
We talked about him.
Yep.
About a month and a half or 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. We still can't get the police footage. It's like the rally cries don't even matter anymore. The you know, when it's happening 2, 3, 4 times a week, how do you put effort in? You know, I'm sure Benjamin Crump has 200 voicemails he can't get to because this is happening all over the country now, and they're unapologetic about it, whether it be missing, whether it be just unaliving, whether it be the hangings. These are things that they're no longer hiding. And we haven't, every now and then we'll see a post, X number of thousands of young black girls have disappeared in the last 6 months. No one's reporting on it. What?
Saw that on social media just yesterday.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too.
Right. We got to move on. I cannot end the show talking about that. I need to laugh at something.
And listen, we saved the foolishness for the very end, because it was a couple heavy things, but we're gonna skip.
There's actually a couple more.
Listen, you gotta give us 15 minutes. We'll go to 2:15 Eastern time. But we gotta go to we can't end on this on such a heavy note. Anita says, I tell folks all the time. Curtis, while you pull that up, I'm gonna just read a couple of these. I tell folks all the time we all came on different ships. Ain't that the truth? Hold on. It says, I tell my nephews and nieces, be aware and careful at all times and know who you associate with. Facts. Brother Deshaun, tell your wife I feel and do the same thing. I will not step foot in Florida. Yeah, man, y'all on the same page. My heart hurts so much, especially when it's us. And again, it's every week. It's every single week, multiple times. And it's either a cop brazenly now tearing us up on video multiple times coming out a week. It's too much to report on. Like, we can't even take every single case where it's like, oh, did you see this brother, that brother, this getting beat up by the cop, because it's like it's multiple times a week. And then you got the killings. So again, like I think the central theme of this episode is join the call. Jointhecall.org. Get yourself prepared in your prayers to leave. And if you have family, you have older family, you need to be telling them, looking at places where they can go and they can afford to live comfortably on their Social Security for now. I was just speaking with a brother yesterday. He's in Tanzania. He's been out there. He has he said, when I came here, I had a 7-bedroom house and it was costing me $400 US a month. It's a trade-off. You're not, now the places when he showed the view, I'm like, well, but you research who has the best, what do I need to know? Okay, I need a generator. I need a backup battery power if they lose power. These are things but I'm going to my local market. Everything's organic. Like he's telling me how the trade-off of leaving the United States compared to where he's at now is he'll take it 9 days, 7 days out of the week. So what you should be looking at is, before y'all make a plan, prepare your grandmother, start talking to them, because we already told y'all about 2 months ago, or maybe even not even that long ago, the Social Security budget is going to dry up. Mm-hmm. The Social Security budget is set to dry up in the next 6-7 years, 2033. It's not going to be here. So if you're talking to your parents and they're like, hey, I'm going to retire soon. Hey, I'm thinking, should I wait to start drawing Social Security? No, start drawing it now, because it's not going to be here. And you want to get them into a place where they can actually live comfortably. This is the time to get out of the comfort zone, y'all. This ain't the time where I never thought. This is the time to start considering places you never would have considered. Looking at, all of these places where the cost of living. Y'all see these influencers, these content creators. Hey, let me show y'all my $200 US apartment a month. Now, you might be saying, well, I got a job, but how could I move there? But your parents on Social Security, it's your parents who you need to be talking to. Hey, mom, dad, y'all ever think about living out here? Right. Like, y'all could live out there like kings and queens for $1,000 a month.
Listen, they're trying to make ways to replace us. And if you don't believe it, let's go to this next story. Go ahead. Beijing has opened the first World Humanoid Robot Games. All right. Featuring more than 500 robots from 16 countries competing in events like soccer, running, boxing, other performance in dance and music. The events highlight China's rapid advancements in AI-driven humanoid robotics, which participates from top universities, companies, and even middle schools Organizers frame it as a historic milestone in showcasing lifelike autonomous robots capable of both athletic and artistic feats. Now, the reason why I brought this story up, and I just was reading through some articles during the week and saw this, and the reason I thought it was interesting is because if you look at the more detailed report of this, that's just a summary. But they're teaching these robots hip hop and martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop and martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why are they teaching robots, AI-driven robots, about hip hop? Why not country music, square dancing? What is it about hip hop that makes it interesting that they would be? And then athletic stuff. They've got like a 3-on-3 soccer thing where no humans can participate. The robots are playing the athletic. So we dominate sports, right, in America here. You look at the NFL on any given Sunday or an NBA team. You know, the only sports we don't dominate are, golf, and we've done that. We've been there and done that. Tennis, we've been there and done that. So we don't dominate those sports on a regular basis, but when we get into them, we dominate them too. So all athletics we actually dominate. Maybe ice hockey. We started ice hockey. If you didn't know, look it up. The people that migrated to Canada, black folks that migrated to Canada fleeing enslavement, actually started hockey. But we don't play anymore because we're not about that life of being cold. But anyway, what do you think about the fact that they are building robots, AI-driven robots? That means these things learn. That means that they can. Did you have the picture of the? Do you have?
Well, they got. I don't know if y'all saw this week, but they showed a robot. We got to. It's for those watching. You got to see this because he was doing all right. He was doing all right. If some of y'all got like Last Dragon, let me teach you some moves. He had some moves, but then he crashed out. Look. See, that's the part where it gets scary. Let me run that back. When you start seeing, it's like they're cute until they're not. Like my man is getting it in. He breaking.
Now that reminds me of the Australian breakdancer that was just in the Olympics this last year. The last time they had the Olympics, remember they did breakdancing for the first time?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it just reminds me of, is that we've got robots trying to do
black things,
breakdancing.
Right. We couldn't have black people come out and represent in the Olympics if we're gonna have it. But yeah, that just was But if you look at the moves, beforehand, it was like they had to be programmed off of a black person.
Of course.
And so right. So do you see a day when like we're watching robot sports, we're watching robot football, basketball, like are they just trying to grasp our culture just in case we leave one day and they're like, hey, well, we still got the robots.
They want to find replacements. They want to be able to have some athletics that they can see and watch and maybe enjoy a little hip hop that's robotically driven. Robotically driven bars cannot be that great though. I just gotta say that.
No. Get Black With Me said China is making chips, America is making bombs. Sounds right.
Okay. Right.
It's just when you go to China, all these videos I see on China is just like they are like leaps and bounds.
They are dominating us in so many ways. They really are. This Pamela says, yes, we dominate every sport. And Taylor, welcome, Taylor Langley.
Welcome.
Except underwater basket weaving. That's the only sport we don't dominate. And that's only just because we haven't had a chance and we don't do the swimming thing so good. So There's two.
Is that a
things
real thing?
No, I'm underwater basket weaving. I doubt it, but
Oh,
I never know.
I thought there was some connection to slave ships, and I don't know. But I guarantee you, if you gave us, if it was in our neighbor, if we had pools in our neighborhood, swimming pools at large, we would be dominating swimming because we're starting to see it. Yep, two of the fastest college swimmers in this year were black.
Yep.
So
let's move on to some more foolishness. I'm just going to even mention it, folks. I'm just going to mention it and pass. I'm not even going to read the story. There are things going on. The Supreme Court is teeing up the Voting Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act started the year I was born, 1965. 1965, the Voting Rights Act. Here we are 60 years later. It is in very real jeopardy of disappearing. Parts of it have already been stripped away through the years. And now there's a case in Louisiana that's going to get teed up to the Supreme Court, which we already know has been bought and paid for by this administration, is now going to try this case that very possibly could end up undoing the most important parts of the civil rights of the Voting Rights Bill of 1965, and could really be problematic for both the 14th and 15th Amendment. So stay woke. We say it all the time. Stay woke, folks. There are things going on that our rights are going backwards. We're going backwards as far as rights. Women's rights. You can't have the abortions anymore. You don't have body autonomy anymore. Voting rights are disappearing. We're seeing gerrymandering go on. These are all things happening right in front of you. This is very quick,
very quickly too.
They're right there and blatantly being done in front of you. All you got to do is open your eyes and pay attention. That's all I wanted to say about that because I want to end on some foolishness.
Yeah. Now we got a lot to talk about concerning this.
So
we about to have a field day.
Umar's in the news this week. Umar Johnson. I'll just read the story and then we'll go into it. So he took to TikTok recently and made a big pronouncement that the school that he's been working on for, he said, the last 6.5 years, Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy in Maryland, I believe, is in jeopardy of being sold at auction due to some outstanding unpaid bills related to vacant property and utility fees. And according to the caption, he was never told about it. He's in jeopardy of losing the school due to unpaid vacant and utility fees, and they didn't tell him or let him know until now. So he says at the end of the month, I think he said August 28th, that the property is scheduled to be auctioned off. Now, I've got questions. First of all, why weren't the bills paid? He's been collecting on this for 6.5 years, right? Why weren't the bills paid is my first question. Did he not have the money? Where did the money go? If you've been collecting for 7 years, you should have enough to pay your utility bills. I would think. This is just me. I'm just thinking that if you've been collecting for a school actively, somebody of his profile, and yet you don't have the money to pay these outstanding bills. So that's my first question. Second is, how could it be that you didn't know? If you're the owner of record, how is it that you don't know? So that's the second question. Third question is, why did you go to TikTok rather than going to a lawyer? You go get a lawyer and fight this the way everybody else would fight it in the court. If indeed something untoward is going on, then you have remedies in the court. All right. That's my first three questions. We can answer those three, then I'll be good. What are your thoughts
Umar
on Umar Johnson getting on begging for money for his school that he's been collecting for nearly 7 years?
Dr. Umar. It's only been 7 years. It feels longer.
Does seem longer than that.
It feels like forever because we've been waiting to see a school.
Yeah.
We waited years to see a school. And then once we saw the school, we waited to see the fix-up of the school. And then it was always, we got to get the electrician in here. We got to get the HVAC done. We got to get the electric done. We got to get the plumbing, just the windows alone, just the windows. Okay. Why don't we have a budget?
Right.
This was my question back then. Why isn't there a budget total on what the school is going to, what it takes to renovate the whole school? Hey, y'all, we did the budget. It's going to take us $320,000 to renovate the whole school. We're raising that. Why? We're raising. All right, y'all. I need money for the windows. And I think what you at this point what's sad about this is I feel like there was a good amount of people that held out hope that this was going to actually happen. Right. And you didn't want to write them off. You're like, this doesn't seem like this sounds.
Well, you see what was a little suspect though? Because last week he was on social media talking about my accounts are frozen. Could y'all send me a little dough? Could y'all send me a couple dollars until my issue with my frozen accounts get resolved? Then on the heels of that, we get this report the following week. Yeah, we ain't got the money for the school
taxes
that you know are coming, utility fees that you know are a part, to your point, should have been part of your budget to begin with. Mm-hmm. Something ain't right.
And the whole thing is, how long have these been in arrears?
Right.
How long have you, is this 2 years worth of missed payments? Have you never paid, when you get to the point where they're auctioning off the property, you have received, they don't just send you one warning because he said they put it on the door. Somebody took it. They put it on the door. Because he is, I just got to play a little clip of Dr. Umar because he is always comic relief at the highest level. Hold on, let's just hear a little bit about him.
And possibly arrested because fraudulent activity on a bank account is a federal offense. Fraudulent activity on a bank account is federal offense. Fraudulent activity on a bank account is a federal offense.
He always does that, repeating 2-3 times.
June 25th to July 10th. Is the period of suspicious activity. That is from the time Medea went public and I left for South Africa. Between the time Medea went public and I went for South Africa. And
you talking about Tyler Perry, Medea? What? I'm lost. What happened?
Let's go back.
Medea?
Hold on.
Fraudulently trying to get into my account.
Okay.
Hold on.
See.
Well, if you,
I believe Medea and Pastor Bussy were fraudulently trying to get into my account.
Who?
And if we find out that's the case, they will be sued.
Medea and Pastor Bussy. I hate to even look this up because even when he looks so disheveled. And listen, I'm not even, look, brother looked like he ain't took a good shower in a couple days. The beard is woofing. And look, we all been there. It's a difference, Curtis, when you sweating and you're clean and you're sweating and you're dirty. It just looks different. This ain't sweat like, I just came out the gym, y'all. Man, had a good workout. This brother got on a bunch of stuff. None of it matches. It's like, he pulls something out of a bag and he doesn't look. He looks like it's all coming apart around. It's coming apart. So I don't know who these Medea are, but everybody on the comments is just saying every video I see, it's over, brother. Yeah. It's go get a job, go get whatever. It's over. I mean, he's gonna continue to ask for money because that's what he does. But like I said,
is that every now and again he says something that makes sense. He's one of those hit or miss guys for me. Some of the stuff I'm like, okay, I can see the truth. A dead clock is right twice a day. Is mine saying. So every now and again he says something that sticks for me. But a lot of times it just seems a little suspect. And this seems suspect to me. I'm pro-black. I'm always going to be down for my folks. I am all the time. But I'm also know when, and I learned this from Brother Deshaun. Not everybody can come with us. Not everybody's going to be there. Not everybody's welcome. You don't want everybody there.
I think that's one of our wise ancestors said that. Because when I picked everybody can't come. Did you ever believe in the school? And, for our co-hosts, did you guys ever believe? Because some people, from the day he kind of started panhandling online, it was like, this ain't the guy. No, this is not a guy. Whether it was questioning his degrees or did you ever believe that this school was going to actually come to fruition?
I hoped. I thought it was a great idea. I mean, I'd love to see a school meeting the needs of our black boys specifically, addressing them, raising them to be young men. But it's almost 7 years, and has anybody graduated? Have they had even one student? Have they had even like a private tutoring session for any students? Come on. 6 years in, you could have ran a school out of your house for 6 years, homeschooling a few people for 6 or 7 years, without any kind of real budget, without any kind of real building. So it seems suspicious to me, and I don't want to be the one to cast suspicion on our own folks a lot of times, but as the story that we talked about, unfortunately, the death of the young child, that was a black woman who was responsible for that boy. And so, all skin folks ain't kin folk, unfortunately. And
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this. Here's an interesting hook to this Dr. Umar story I want everybody to consider. When you paid for the school, did you get a loan or did you pay off the school in cash? Is there a loan on this school? Can anybody pull up is there a mortgage? Because it doesn't say he's behind on.
Right. It just says fees. It
just says utilities. All I've seen is utilities and taxes. City and so let's go a little deeper here. If the school is paid off in cash, then technically when the school is auctioned, the debts are paid. And I mean, the school has to be worth something, no? What
land is worth something usually.
So who gets the money?
Whoever, the city, probably, if they're auctioning off the property.
But if it's 40,000, if you owe 40,000 in taxes, somebody
pay off and they're gonna keep the land and probably sell it on an open market.
But you can't do that. You can't do that. If I own a property that's worth $300,000, and I'm just going to Dr. Umar, if you own the school and let's say they auction it for even $300,000, say you paid 2-3 times that, whatever, but the debt is 40,000. Where's the other 260?
They pocket that money. They pocket the state, the city, or whatever entity is selling it. They make that money.
Then no, something has to be off, because I would just sell the property myself. You're not going to auction the property.
They can't. They have a lien on the property. Can't sell the property because there's a lien on it.
You can sell the property, but the lien just has to be satisfied before the deal can be closed. If they have a lien on the property, that just means when the property is sold, you have to pay that lien off first. There's a lien position. If you had a mortgage, the mortgage holder is the first person that has to get paid. If you had a second mortgage, second mortgage has to be paid. But I'm curious, going into the deeper finances of this seems to be what Get Black With Me just typed. Umar is lying about everything because a building is worth something. And if y'all telling me that I owe y'all $40,000, all right, I got to sell the building, and then that money goes to me and I'll pay off y'all little $40,000. But y'all not going to take a $300,000-$400,000 building and pay off the $40,000 and then when I get and then y'all keep the rest too. That's not the way it worked. If I had a mortgage and everything, once y'all sold the building, all right, we sold it, but we had to pay all your debts. You don't have nothing left. It's just, and this is the problem, y'all, when we don't have transparency in leadership. We don't have transparency to understand, how did you acquire this building, brother? Because if you told us it cost you $700,000 to buy this building, that was the market value of the building 7 years ago. So you telling me there's not a high, that it went down that much? You telling me you paid $600,000 and it went down that much, where you can't even?
It's in Wilmington, Delaware, according to this report. I thought it was in Maryland. I apologize. It's Wilmington, Delaware, where the school was supposedly located.
Wilmington, Delaware.
Because Wilmington, Delaware is a no tax state. That brings even more questions into it. No income tax, I think, in the state of Delaware.
You're right.
Maybe I'm just confusing that. But they say he hasn't paid he hadn't paid the bills for the last 4 years. For the last 4 years, he didn't pay whatever taxes and fees, registration fees, with total $15,500. Really? So Umar, you didn't have $15,000 in the. You didn't have $15,000 on hand to. I mean, it's a school, right? You've been collecting.
Thank you, Mick. $15,500 a year.
Something don't smell right. Something stank.
Man got millions of followers, always raising money, always on a plane somewhere doing a speaking engagement. So they ain't paying you for the speaking engagements or none of this. You just living off.
Calm cap.
This is our problem, y'all. This is why we got to watch these donations we make to people. Even when they say they such and such, man, we
spending all his money on dashikis.
And look, the one he got on, I don't know if he in this last video, woo, brother looking rough. But you know, when you living rough, you're gonna start looking rough after a while. And this is the last thing I want to say about this, Curtis, because I want to ask you this. Why does he have that symbol that we were talking about that the Jews wear? If you look at this video for those of y'all who can see this. Look at that symbol right there. Now, I don't know if maybe a Hebrew Israelite gave that to him. Possibly. I don't know. But I've never seen him wear no 5-pointed star. Like, I mean, that's not even a Hebrew Israelite. That's a cult symbol right there. Ooh. So I that's a pentagram. So, you know, again, maybe the deal you made with the devil has just expired and it's time to, I don't know.
Demon season. So.
It's demon season. Because but again, be careful, y'all. We should not, just to wrap this one up. How do we protect ourselves against this? How do we protect ourselves against people who are raising money and we depend on something? We look for their business sense. You should be talking equity. You should be talking charters. It should be more than you. You should have a team, a board. You should have things that are meant to protect the stakeholders. People who run large organizations, people who say, I'm going to build a school, y'all, and we're going to change things. They're not doing it alone. Who are their curriculum writers? Who are their staff? Who are their, you know what I mean? All we've been seeing for 7 years is Dr. Umar, Breakfast Club, Dr. Umar, I'm building a school. Where your people? Who's your principal? You know?
Who's your bookkeeper? That's what I want to know. That's the first part I want to find out. So thanks to our crack staff, they're like, the amount is actually about 40,000 because it's 15,000 over 3.5 year period, reportedly. Well, that would be about 45, almost 50, closer to $50,000. But anyway, so he tried to pay it in April, but we'll look into that a little bit more, or maybe we won't because I'm not sure I care that much. But you know, we needed a little comic relief, and
he's lying. He's just lying to us. They left one note on the door, y'all. Don't no city or state auction off no property with no one note. You mean that red note? The red note might have been that final notice.
The final one.
Come on. You ain't. They don't show up one day say, "Hey, we selling your property in 2 weeks." Yeah, hey, no. Come on. So again, unfortunately, it looks like the story of Dr. Umar is coming to an end. But I'm curious to see.
Call him the king of the jungle because he lying. Anyway,
where does he go from here? It's going to be interesting. The most interesting thing to see is where he goes from here. I like what Qatar Yah said. Dr. Umar, Pan-Africanist turned panhandlist. So
gotta love our co-hosts. Yeah, and Pamela, you're right. He's got until the 25th to pay this. She's saying $38,000 to pay off to avoid a sheriff's sale. So we'll see.
Crazy, and he could probably raise that. If you got millions of followers,
profile, you gotta know somebody. Even if you don't have the money on hand, you gotta know somebody that might front you $40,000.
Come on, to save your school.
To save the school, if the school is a real school. And
there you go.
So that's that. So we're well over our time, as we are often want to do, but we can't finish up without this last one because we need to laugh because we went through some tough times today.
Yes.
But there was a Department of Justice employee who's been charged with a serious crime of allegedly assaulting a law enforcement officer with a apparently a serious weapon. There's all over social media. It's a very serious situation where this Department of Justice employee was apparently fighting, arguing with disagreement with the local police, and he assaulted the officer by throwing an object at him. The object that he threw could have taken an eye out, had maybe a pickle or something hit him in the eye, but it was a sub sandwich that he threw at him. I don't know if it was a Subway sandwich or if it was some other deli prepared sandwich. Now, I don't know if the bread was hard, and maybe if the bread was stale, it might have been a hard weapon or a projectile that was thrown. But he threw the sandwich at the officer, and he hit him. I mean, he got him good. Bam! The whole sandwich. The whole sandwich. And it wasn't a half sandwich. It was a foot long at least, right? It wasn't even one of them half sandwiches. He threw the sandwich at the officer, and then he took off running. Now he's an unmelanated man, so took off running might be a little bit overstating it, but he started to run. And now he had some tight whites on shorts that seemed to restrict his movement. So even the fat out of shape cops were able to chase him down. Listen, this man is running in damn near slow motion. Sorry. But look at
he's trotting.
This is why you don't see them on the basketball court.
No way.
Look at this. Look, now he took off. He gone.
Look at the trot. Now look, y'all seen some of our people when we get in these chases with these cops. Look.
Listen. There's no way that man. They could have gave him another block head start and still caught him before he got to the other block because that's how slow he was. Anyway,
but the seriousness of it, the story is hilarious.
It is,
but Pam Bondi ain't. She ain't taking this lightly.
She fired him for that, and now they're gonna try and press felony charges. And I've seen even on Fox, if you listen to the same report that we have up there, even they're like, there's no judge in the world. No judge in the country is going to charge this man with a felony behind throwing a sandwich. It's a misdemeanor at that.
Sandwich game.
But he lost his job behind it, And so anyway,
this is
I'm mad because I would have been mad. I want my sandwich.
Well, I want the sandwich.
I just went and stood in line for this.
Just wasted my sandwich.
And I'm curious. I'm curious to know what kind of sandwich it was.
What do you think they were talking about? Because as you can see look, he is going in. He is going absolutely in.
He's really worked up.
Yeah, he's worked up over something.
He is white folk mad because he threw his whole entire sandwich at that.
And look, here's the thing. Look, for those of you who can see, watch this on YouTube. When you raise the sandwich up, you would think, you remember back in the days, Curtis, where the dude would take the glove and say, I challenge you to a duel, and he give you two slaps, slap you on the cheek, left, right.
Yeah.
This dude raises the sandwich as if this dude was this. This is the most unathletic person I've ever seen. You're 3 feet away from the guy. What was he? He hits him in the top shoulder with the sandwich. What the heck?
He wound up. And he threw that like it was a fastball.
This dude don't snap. You could tell this dude probably his whole life has never snapped. He don't even know how to handle it. He doesn't. He just because you raise the sandwich up, you throw it, and it kind of hits the dude in the shoulder and falls. You didn't even get if I'm gonna lose my job. Yeah. If I'm gonna lose my job, be on public news, at least, man, let me have that whole sandwich you should have a bruise.
Yes, mayo all over his face.
Yes, make it good.
Yeah. DC Fly, I gotta love this. If it was a donut, he wouldn't have got caught.
He'd have caught it.
He'd have caught it. All right. Yeah. If it was a donut, he would have got away because the cops would have been going after the donut instead of the sandwich. They would not have chased him. But anyway.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's 14th and U Street. I think that's where the rats are. Get Black with Me. That's where I think that's the section of town that we stayed in, Northwest DC. And they got a rat problem over there. So I think that the commander-in-chief should dispatch the National Guard to get rid of the rats in D.C. And after he gets rid of the ones on the street, he should get rid of the ones in the White House. Anyway, boom. I just had to finish. I'm sorry. Anyway, we've gone a little over time, and we appreciate you sticking with us. We really do. Sometimes, and this was a short show.
It really was.
It was really a short show. I mean, we only had a lesser topics than we normally have. So we're having some fun today. Got into some serious issues as well.
Yeah.
We enjoy your company. You as our co-host. We're glad to have you with us. Some great interaction with our co-hosts, and we always appreciate that. We're here every Friday at 12, and we invite you to come back and join us then. Listen, there's some things going on that are beyond the scope of this show that we want you to understand. So go to rep2025.org, go to jointhecall.org. These are not things that we're just talking. We're not just giving you pie in the sky stuff. There's action being behind these things that we're talking about. So we want you to make sure that you're aware of that. Check those sites out. Reach out to us if you got questions. We're here. And of course, you can always meet us here every Friday on This Week in Black America at noon, where we're going to always try and run down what's going on in Black America. We invite you to stay woke. Keep your heads on a swivel, folks, because things are happening. We are indeed in demon season. Any final thoughts you have, Brother Deshaun, before we let our folks go today?
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you for having, great dialogue with us. Me and Curtis say this all the time. It's not always fun, staying up to speed, what's happening in America, how it affects us. But, when we get here with you, we get to laugh about some things maybe we shouldn't be laughing about, but we do. But every now and then, you will hear that we just got to let loose on other things. We're trying to recruit you. We're trying to recruit you to a different level of awareness. And or else I'd love to do this show 5 years ago. I felt like we just be laughing and joking all the time, but the seriousness of this time is it's what weighs on us. So we got a couple more serious topics this week than we normally do, but the plan for us is phenomenal. So when we talk about these prophecies and what they say, it says the first shall be last, the last shall be first. We've been last, we're about to be first. And we don't do first like other people do first. We do first like good for the world, good for our community, good for our country, nations, We're going to do trade. We're going to do import, export. We're going to have millions of jobs, safety, all of these things that a righteous nation should have. Wealth. We're going to have our own economy. We'll be talking about that soon. Something that is going to absolutely transform our wealth is when we start this independent economy. Again, a lot of these models, the Jewish people we've talked about it. We've seen them do it, but that's okay. We have the tools now. We're going to do it as a people, even without land. So when we start talking about these things, we appreciate you being willing to listen, go study, go look these things up, start, like Curtis said, ask us questions on it. If you want to expound on these things, one day we'll do a show called The Chosen and the Called, where we'll be able to really just break down prophecy and all of these empires that have fallen because the scripture said they would fall. Babylonian Empire, the Medes and the Persians, the Greeks, the Roman Empire, all written in the book of Daniel to fall. Roman Empire is now falling. Rome is falling right now in front of us. And the prophecy said that there would be a figure that would be the catalyst to the fall of Rome. And that's what we're seeing. So, again, we appreciate you being willing to tap in with us on weekly topics and listen to some of these spiritual things. And you just put all of this, eat the meat, throw away the bone. Use it to be a more well-rounded person, a more studied, aware person, however God sees fit for you to use it. So thank you. Stay woke, stay aware, head on a swivel.
That's it.
We always love having you.
Hey, and don't forget, when you go to those pages, make sure you like them, subscribe to them. The likes do influence the algorithm, and that's the age that we live in. In addition to it being demon season, it's technology season. So go out and like our page, like our content, set yourselves those notifications so you never miss anything that we're doing. And we appreciate you. Have a great week. Be safe in them streets. And we'll be back next week at the same time, noon on Friday, for This Week in Black America. And we hope to see you then. Bye-bye for now.